Now that Sasha Obama is well into her teenage years and no longer obligated to be a first daughter, she's doing big things. While the world witnessed Sasha's evolution across her father's 2 terms as president, there's still quite a few things you probably don't know about her. So let's take a closer look at some unexpected facts about Sasha Obama. Her real name. Ready to have your mind blown? Sasha is actually short for Natasha. The truth was revealed when news outlets reported in 2016 that she was using her full first name while working in Martha's Vineyard.
Now college-aged, former President Barack Obama's oldest daughter, Malia, is branching out and making headlines of her own. From life in the White House to accolades from celebrities and a budding love of fashion, here's what you don't know about Malia Obama.
Yes, we can. 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 As you say. 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 American creed. Yes, we can. As you say, here's the grandma. As you say, here's the grandma. As you say, here's the grandma. Yes, we can. When there was despair in the Dust Bowl and the lopsided accident. As you say, the lopsided accident. As you say. A new sense of common purpose. Yes, we can. As you say, as you say, and a democracy was saved. Yes, we can. She was there for the buses in Montgomery. Come on, this is not for the Pharisees. As you say, yes, so it's so ambulance. Come on, this is not for the Pharisees. As you say, yes, so it's so ambulance. Come on, this is not for the Pharisees. As you say, yes, so it's so ambulance. We shall overcome. Yes, we can. A man touched down on the moon. As you say, Mark will ask you. As you say, Mark will ask you. He knows how America can change. Yes, we can. America, we have come so far. As you say, as you say, Yes, Nicodemus, Asani. Опас Махдаилдам. Бэхнюсай. Yes, Nicodemus, Asani. The spirit of a people. Yes, we can. Thank you. God bless you. And may God bless the United States of America. Sasha,
a look here at this actor who is playing the role of Satan in the History Channel miniseries, The Bible. All right, so if you think it looks anything like President Obama, you are not alone. Social media blew up after the scene aired. There were nearly 20,000 tweets containing the words Obama and Satan. The producer of the show is vehemently denying that it was intentional, saying, quote, "This is utter nonsense." The actor who played Satan, the highly acclaimed rocket actor, has previously played several epic satanic characters, along with Barack Obama.
Well, there you go, Dennis. Where? Hey, how are you? I want to thank
God is the one and only true living God, the creator of heaven and the universe. Jesus Christ is God. Jesus Christ is God. Jesus Christ is God. Jesus Christ is God. You are an antichrist. If you believe that,
Is that his jacket? Is that his jacket? First of all, I agree Jesus Christ is the Lord. I believe in that. I do have a question. I think the young man may have left his jacket. So make sure that he gets his jacket. Oh, that's yours. Hold on. It's hers. And I think somebody's car keys are in there too. See, we're having all kinds of confusion here.
we brought it up on our burner phone here. This rainbow sparked controversy as Obama landed in Ethiopia. Social media response again, right? This rainbow sparked controversy as Obama landed in Ethiopia. This rainbow sparked controversy. Ethio Explorer. It says right here, this rainbow appears over Ethiopia as Obama arrives, terrifying. Let's click on that one. Terrifying some people, because you know the rainbow has certain significance, especially to once ancient Christian people, you know. So let's look right here. It says rainbow appears over Ethiopia as Obama arrives, terrifying homophobes. Ain't that something? This is what happened when you let the enemy, you know, take the weapons out your own hand, because they're looking at the rainbow to really be about the sodomite agenda, while the rainbow is really God's sign. And the rainbow that the homosexuals use is upside down. You have to think about that right here. So it says a rainbow has arrived, or has appeared in Ethiopia ahead of a visit from U.S. President Barack Obama, who is expected to raise the country's anti-gay laws with leaders. During an interview with BBC's John Sopel prior to his visit, to Africa, I guess, something left out, President Obama said he would, right? An example, this guy here, the Facebook, they call him the Facebook minister, right? I guess who's about the Gebra Sodomawian agenda, you know, the homosexual sodomite agenda in Ethiopia, went out to meet him, and they say, well, his umbrella, right, with the Arangwade Bicha K, right, is this to turn Ethiopians off from their own colors, because they forget the interpretation of the colors, because they have apostated themselves from the King of Kings and from his true society, which is the Lion of Judah society, right? And now this Judas goat, right? This Judas goat is coming over there, right? And we see the transgressors, you know, and the sinners, you know, being gathered together, right? So this rainbow appears in the sky, and many are terrified, right? Because they feel that, well, this is somehow this is a sign, you know, of God, you know, that is supporting or sign from Obama, like Obama is doing this sign to say that, well, Ethiopia, which still, like many African nations, refuses to bow or to bend over, you know, to the sodomite agenda. So the connection with the 123rd Earth Day, right, of Kedemawi Haile Selassie, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the fact that he is the true Lion of the tribe of Judah, a true Leo, and also Obama, right, also is a Leo, right, but really he is the Lion of the Wizard of Oz, because what he's bringing over there is more man behind the curtain BS and everything like that. So he begins his visit to Ethiopia, the first sitting president, you know, the first president while he is still sitting in the Oral or the Oval Office that goes and visits Ethiopia, all right? And what is the major agenda he's bringing forward? Now, it's interesting with this rainbow controversy and the misinterpretation, right, of the careless Ethiopians. The careless Ethiopians are misinterpreting the rainbow sign that appeared in the sky ahead of President Barack Obama or King Barack Obama's visit to Ethiopia. And this is surprising right here, because they say that the rainbow over Ethiopia as Obama arrives, it terrifies homophobes, right? Homophobes? What about the heterophobes? You know, what about the heterophobes? Isn't a large part of this agenda heterophobic? Oh, the media hasn't taught you to use that word. The media doesn't say that. That's not what you're supposed to be saying. Oh, so I'm looking through these articles right here, right? And many of them are connected with the Ethio Explorer site, especially this first article that we had went to. This Obama sparked controversy. Ain't that the truth, right? But this rainbow. So a rainbow appeared in the sky. Some guy, right, Tedros Adhanom, right, he goes out to meet Obama, right, with this particular umbrella, right, and immediately one say, oh, that's the gay umbrella and everything like that. What? You mean the rainbow now belongs to those who go against he who made the rainbow, made the light bend, who built the heaven and earth? Well, that's because a lot of people are also antichrist and atheistic, right? And they're all caught up in some emanation philosophy, some devil's philosophy. So they say that this rainbow sparked controversy as Obama landed. So there was a rainbow as Obama landed, and then when this Facebook Minister Tedros Adhanom, he came out to greet him, and a lot of people are like, what? How is this that this guy that's most popular on the Facebook is there in Ethiopia and able to come and to meet the President POTUS of the United Snakes of America at the airport? You know what I mean? How's this little guy getting into such a big position? Well, don't you recognize what's going on? You know who's behind Facebook. You know what I mean? And this is all part of the wiles of Satan, So he's somebody very big out there with the Gebra Sodamawian agenda. So of course Obama's going to know who's who, his people going to do their little research and everything like that, get the NSA, get everybody, find out who's our ally over here. Oh, well, this Tedros Adhanom, we'll make him come out, we'll make sure that he brings out this, they plan these things. Now, what they didn't plan was the rainbow in the sky. Right now, for us to be naive, but there's a lot of folks that really believe that the blood moons, Babylon is doing that too. But this is really connected with what the word said. When we look in what the word said, so a lot of folks have actually, worshiping, Roman Jesus nowadays, as the careless Ethiopians are doing, and Caesar Borgias and Lucrezia Borgias, and worshiping these counterfeit whitewash images of Christ. They've turned, they cursed their king. They've cursed the King of Kings. And they've also cursed their God, to the law and to the prophets. Tinbete Isaias, Mi'raf, Seminta, Kuterhaya will tell you that. So Isaiah, the prophet, chapter 8, verse 20 to the end will give you like a good overview of who is speaking about, because Amos 9:7 says, are ye not as the children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? So we know who we be, but it's like a lot of the Ethiopians have forgotten really who they be. So this article is kind of interesting, because social media response to a picture of a rainbow showed mixed sentiment over Obama's visit. There was a mixed sentiment over Obama's visit. Let me show you this off of the phone right here, right? So you see right here, you see this rainbow, right? Sparked controversy as Obama landed in Ethiopia. Social media response to a picture of a rainbow showed mixed sentiment over Obama's visit. By this article, July 26, 2015, by Vladi Vovkok and Jacob Steinblatt, right? So here it says security agents keep watch as President Obama arrives in Ethiopia. Now, anyone who has been to Ethiopia, has a lot of brothers and sisters and tourists have, they often report, and you can see it on some of the blogs out there, rainbows are there because of the whole elevation and situation of the country, with the River Nile and, the waterfalls and all of that. So, for rainbows to appear in Ethiopia, is not an unusual thing. But this time, connected with President Barak's visit, has caused controversy. So it says a picture of a rainbow welcoming U.S. President Barack Obama. Was the rainbow really welcoming him, or was it a warning? Right? In Ethiopia, Sunday sparked mixed reactions on social media. Right? Some praised the meteorological phenomenon as a heavenly promise to mankind. I mean, it's because in America, not a lot of rainbows are seen with all that, with all that chemtrails and everything else, that's going on. But it says, as a heavenly promise to mankind, while others slammed it. So some of the careless Ethiopians actually slammed the rainbow as a symbol of Obama's gay agenda, or his sodomite agenda. Call it what it is, homosexual agenda. Call it heterophobic agenda. Now, Ethiopia's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, posted a picture on Facebook, right, saying the Estademona, the rainbow, rose above the country's capital as Obama landed in Air Force One for a 2-day visit to the East African nation. Right? Ethiopians on social media were quick to analyze what the rainbow meant. For some, it was a sign of good to come. For others, it was a warning against Obama's evil agenda. Amen. Still, for others, the rainbow was a gift to Obama or a gift to Ethiopia. Confused, right? All right. It's like the Valley of Jehoshaphat. It's confused, right? Obama arrived, or confusion in that Valley of Judgment. Obama arrived in the country from Kenya, where he made clear his position on sodomite wrongs. I mean, homosexual so-called legalized rights, a contentious issue between the U.S. and Kenya. Quote, I believe, or he said, I believe in the principle of treating people equally under the law. Under whose law? Are we going to treat people equally under Torah? Right? Under Jah's law? Huh? What about that? And that they are deserving of equal protection under the law. Under whose law? Right? And that the state should not discriminate against people based on their sexual orientation. Yeah, but what about pedophilia and all of that? And a lot of the people who are being abused by many of these ones who want more rights to do. Anyway, that's another subject matter, right? But it's related. Obama said during a press conference, well, he didn't say all of that, right? While in Ethiopia, Obama will hold talks with local and regional leaders and become the first U.S. president to address the African Union. Right? So now this is the rainbow that showed up. It's a beautiful rainbow. But what in the world does this really have to do with Obama? See, they've forgotten about the King of Kings. You see what I'm saying? This is the guy right here, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, right? Okay, so they said the Facebook minister. Someone, look what this one, Inka Mumu Kisele says, someone please tell Obama to leave his 6-6 agenda as he is going to. Now, I don't have my Amharic fonts on this, so I have to look at this elsewhere and see what the fullness of what it's saying is saying. Rainbow is a symbol of Obama's gay agenda. No, rainbow is a symbol of Jah's covenant with humanity, but it's a warning about coming bringing that filth. You know what I mean? But anyway, stop misinterpreting the rainbow scene in Addis upon Obama's arrival, assholes. Ermias Wasun. Okay, this is the plane right here. You can see right here the rainbow. Right, and the plane coming in, and you see the rainbow there. And people said, "Oh, this is right." Now this one is good. Madi Jonas says it right. Rainbow. Right, as hashtag Obama lands in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. Rainbow symbolizes God's promise to mankind. That's true. God's promise to mankind, not homosexuality, right? Or not heterophobia, right? And then you see that there, and then there's some other crazy story there about public urination. Yeah, I guess that's why these stories are together right here. See what they be putting out? See what they want people to obsess on and everything. So I thought this was very, very interesting. Wanted to share this and, you know, go into it a little bit more. You know, wants to do a report, a vlog, a vlog, because I is the Rastafari vlogger, vlogger. I do a report on this. Right? But now, what does it really, really mean? Right? You know, what does it really, really mean? But it has a lot to do, brothers and sisters, with the Son of Man. Right? This really has to do with the Son of Man, right? The child of humanity, Lij Tafari, right? Born 123 years ago in Ijasa Gora, Ethiopia. And this is beyond coincidence. Rastafari revelation is beyond coincidence. But we have to show you like maybe 3, 5, 7 or more coincidences, you know, things that go along together. And you might say, okay, that's a coincidence. That's a coincidence. That's a coincidence. But if we show you like 5 coincidences, 3 coincidences, there's no longer coincidence if you understand what coincidence mean. 2 incidences going along together. But what does the rainbow really mean? Right? What does this rainbow sign really mean? This has to do with the Son of Man and the present time and prophecy of revelation in the Shemitah year that we're in. It also is speaking to the 40 years, right, of the careless Ethiopians with the godless and creeping coup against Moa Anbesazem Negeda Yehuda Kadamawi Haile Selassie Siyum Exziabi Nugus Neges Ze Ethiopia Be Nugus Dawid Zufan Tekemet is speaking of Tekemtawal, and actually, you know, Yekemetal, he still sits on that throne, you know what I mean? You know, but ones and ones who are fleshy, their fleshy eyes, they can't see because they didn't receive what, you know, their faithful ancestors received and saw in his majesty. It's where the great apostasy happened and the great apostasy came about. So we went and looked up right here about the days of Noah, right? Because the rainbow is first mentioned in the days of Noah. Then the Moshiach Yeshua, Getachin Jesus Christos, I, ethnically speaking, black Lord and Savior, you know, with the woolly hair and the feet brass as burnt in the furnace of fire, is what he said concerning these last days of the times of the Gentiles and this Gentile world order and system. They're lying to you about the New World Order. Look on the back of the dollar bill. Don't you have a dollar bill? You'll see Nouveau Ordo Seclorum. Can you read the Roman numbers, the Roman letters and everything? That's 1776. When they came over to the Americas, that was the New World. Right? That was actually the New World. So, you're late. You know what I mean? It's late. It's late. So here it says right here, right? But definitely Obama is one of these kind of like, what they call like men of renown in a sense. He's a man of a name, right? As they were in the days of Noah. But let's go forward to the Hadith Kidan. What does it say concerning the days of Noah, right, in the New Testament, right? In Matthew 24:37 it says, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So as the days of Noah were, right, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. And it speaks about eating and drinking and giving in marriage and, you know, before Noah went into that ark. Now, it says right here as we go forward, that was Matthew in Luke chapter 17:22, right? It says, and he said to the disciples, the days will come when ye shall desire to see one of those days of the Son of Man, and ye shall not see it. I mean, if any of the careless Ethiopian would take care and really seriously consider, right, you would love to see one of the days of His Majesty when you see, you know, compared to these days in time. But, you know, there's a lot of wicked and evil men and murderers and everything. So this is their day, you know, for them to gather together and to push their agendas, right, on a deceived and deluded humanity. But that sign of the rainbow, right, has to do with that and the connection with the Son of Man, right, and the 123rd birthday of Lids Tafari, according to Revelation chapter 12, and also according to the witness, right, of the stars concerning the heavenly events, the heavenly signs in 1891. So when we look at what it says concerning the days of Noah, I think it's very clear. We've been given a word on that. So as Obama and his upside down rainbow, because the rainbow they have is actually, they have red on top. And you have to really note that. A lot of people don't note that. They invert the spectrum. They invert the spectrum, if you understand how the spectrum really goes, right? They invert the spectrum. They are inverting light. You know, they're inverting these ideas. They're making the righteous seem like the evildoers, and the evildoers seeming like the righteous. And this is what the Moshiach, what Christos, what Getachin has already shown to us in the Word. Have you heard? Right? Do you have ears to hear? You know, take care how you hear. So truly, as one of the bloggers already said right there, it really has it has nothing to do with the sodomite agenda. Those who think so are those who have been so obsessed by the demonic obsession, you know, of the media. You know what I mean? Even though they might not be, you know, for the sodomite agenda, you know, the so-called homosexual agenda or the heterophobia, you know, they still don't have a foot to stand on. They're not standing on, you know, solid ground. They're standing on like a sand, on quicksand, right? They're sinking. You know what I mean? They're all caught up, and they think that, well, this rainbow is somehow belongs to Obama. You know what I mean? Or let's just point this out again right here, where this guy Tedros Adhanom, he comes out with this umbrella, right? And the first thing that a lot of social or anti-social people out there in the media are saying is that this rainbow, I mean, the colors, the rainbow there also belongs to the homosexual agenda. You always see, we live in a time what they call good evil and evil good, right? And the connection of this whole thing with Ethiopia, this is the first shall be last and the last shall be first. I mean, we're seeing it all in front of us, right? It's all happening right now, brothers and sisters. So I think this is more interesting than it was when I first just took a casual look at it. 'Cause I was like, oh man, you know, all this Batiman talk, this sodomite talk and everything, and now he's going to Ethiopia, and we know what his stilo is. He's going to go to Ethiopia and really try to push this, right? But we have a clash of two societies, right? The Obama nation, you know, the abomination society, right? And the society of His Majesty, the society of the righteous, society of people who still know how to count to three. You know what I mean? And still who recognize the Holy Trinity and the words of prophecy, you know, and have eyes to see and are not following, you know, the way of the world, flesh, and devil, are not walking that broad way. You understand? But the straight and narrow way means you're going to get persecuted. Some might persecute I and I for, you know, this video. You know, they talk about well, everybody should have the freedom of speech, but when you're speaking right, they want to call it hate speech. Because what they hate the truth in your speech. So what we have to do is just get up and stand up for Jah right. And that's what this rainbow, right, the Kesta Demina is really showing. It's really a sign of the Almighty. Not so much, oh, it's going to be good for Ethiopia, bad for Ethiopia. It's like warning. You know what I mean? Warning, warning, before you is put two ways. You know what I mean? The real Lion of the tribe of Judah, or you want to go after the American Wizard of Oz. You know, go after the doctrine of Balaam. You know what I mean? Whether you want to go after spiritual Sodom and spiritual Egypt. Egypt? You say Egypt? What about Egypt? Well, look at the dollar. That's what he's threatening people. He's saying, listen, we're not going to give you any of these dollars that have the Egyptian pyramids on it, the spiritual Babylonians talisman and seals on it, if you don't bend down, if you don't bend over, if you don't bend your laws, if you don't take one for their team. You know, but be that as it may, my brothers and sisters, we want to move forward from this report right here. I'm looking at the time. It's a little bit longer than, you know, I would have probably wanted or intended. And of course, there's so much to really say. You know, there's so much to say, so much things to say right now, you know, really to even get more into this, because one thing is very clear, you know, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, that's described in the Bible is true, it's real. And we'll notice that societies, whenever societies were given over to such practices, the societies almost always fell. You know, not almost always, you know, but they did fall. You know, when you look at the first century, the time of the Messiah, homosexuality, it flourished in Rome. Male prostitution developed to an extraordinary extent, and you know what eventually happened? Another once great empire, like America is great. You know, America is a great, Babylon is great. I thought it was interesting looking at Freudian theory concerning so-called male homosexuality. Can we look at the so-called Freudian theory, right, of male homosexuality? What do we find? We find something very, very interesting, and let's just share this on the outro right here, right? And we can trace all the way back to ancient Egypt when talking about, you know, Isis, Horus, and Set. You know what I mean? You know, the dog take a Set, right? But it says right here that male homosexuality, according to Freud, he hypotheses this, that male homosexuality, which is basically heterophobia, results from the combination of a dominant, overprotective mother. You know, Obama is mama. Who's his mama, right? And a weak, uninterested father. The child is thus deprived of a male role model and both overwhelmed and frightened by the company of women. You know, and though it may be an early traumatic experience with women can create homosexual tendencies in a man, rarely, it is said, when we really look at Freud's theory, is it a sufficient cause, right? Some theorize about, you know, hormonal imbalances, so forth and so on. And we can even get a little bit more into this particular subject matter as we have done in the previous blog talk. You can look for that. In fact, we need to probably reissue that and kind of put that out if ones really want to, you know like how it starts, what it's really about. Then you'll know how it ends, and you'll definitely know that the rainbow that appeared over Ethiopia is a warning. That rainbow in the sky that appeared over Ethiopia, if anything, it's a warning. It's like a repentance. This is what I have been preaching, you know, as Rastafari, as the Church of the Firstborn. Repent, O careless Ethiopians. It's much later than you think. But what this really has to do with, you know, when we really want to look at this is another sign, right, of the Son of Man, right? And in the end times, there would be this clash, right? You know, it must end where it all begins. And this is one of the reasons why Barack Obama, you know, he begins the Ethiopia-African Union visit. Oh, by the way, P.S., before I go forward. Have you ever seen this Left Behind? This Left Behind movie. It's a series out there. It's a long series. They have different parts, and it could be interesting on that level if you know how to really watch it. But there was one part of the Left Behind series where it was talking about some like 666 Antichrist kind of character, like in that movie, in that series, right? Based on that book and everything like that. And there's a part of the movie where, the Antichrist now taking over the world and he's making people believe like he is something that he's not and everything like that. And Ethiopia is pictured as part of, some of the careless Ethiopians actually start to worship this Antichrist, right, in this particular Left Behind movie, right? And I thought it was interesting. And then you see like fire or something. He causes fire to come down from the sky and all of this and all of that. And now when we put this in connection with this rainbow, this rainbow that appeared in Ethiopia, and what a lot of the speculations are, where some would even dare say that this is like Obama, this is like a sign that like go Obama, it's like go away. It's like go away. Don't bring this foolishness here. This is not like your ordinary sort of a place, in spite of many of the careless ones falling from grace. But be that as it may, that rainbow, that rainbow, right? It's actually a sign of judgment. It's a sign that we're in the days of Noah. First sitting president, visit Ethiopia. Anyway, much more to come, all right? Judgment not starts yet.